Hey YouTube family, it's your girl Jazzy, getting jazzy with jazz. And if y'all want to have a good time, YouTube family, just like I do, come on over. And I need y'all to go ahead and do this for me, like, comment, and subscribe. And then we're going to get the party started. Hey YouTube family, this is the final video for tonight. And Love Island USA Season 7 Episode 26. It was kinda messy, and it about pissed me off as well. But let's get into it. Nick and Sierra reminisce about their day, and Brian and Jaden he asks, is she an investigator? And they talk about her type, and she says tall, dark, and handsome. And Nick and Hudda in the beginning, they talk, and she says that she was told that it is just a challenge, and she says she will take responsibility on what is going on. Will she? And then Amaya and Zach, they talk, and then he starts talking to the guys. And mind you, when they was talking, it was nothing bad in reference to her. And I said, he a nigga, for real. Cause he pissed me off. And then I'm like, come on now. And Iris and TJ, they sneak away to the sleep easy to have the mushy gushy ushy. I said, at least it ain't in the same room. At least y'all got some little privacy to do y'all business. And then Nick and Sierra, they start to knock. And Taylor's crazy self, he up and he looking at. He hear him and he see him too. And then the guys are making, breakfast for, Amaya and Shelly. And Amaya looking, but she thanked him for breakfast. And this is Chris, by the way. Sure is. And then Amaya talks to Zach about not talking to her, about her not talking to him all day. And she says that she's just trying to make sure that their connection is still, locked and tight. And he still, still feel the same way about her. And he ain't pretty much changing up on her. He is, girl. And then she starts to cry, and he wants her not to cry. And he always tries to calm her down, and he doesn't like when she cries. And I'm like, dude, you don't like when she cries, but you're not doing much of a good job of keeping her from crying. You have to watch your words, okay? You have to watch your words with Amaya, because it's okay. She's just a little sensitive. And then Hudda, Shelly, and Adriana, they talk, and Hudda shares that she has a connection with Chris and she likes him, and she says that she is trying to be happy. Now, Alandria, let me make sure. Shelly, not Alandria, definitely not her. Shelly, she wasn't really conversing with her. She was just sitting there just listening, and she had her little feet propped up on the little chair. And then she says she happy. And then Jaden is chilling. Meanwhile, Brian says that he wants to get to know, Jaden better. So he wants that connection with Jaden. He want to explore Jaden. I said, cool. And then Alandria and Sierra, they talk to each other. And she discusses that she is feeling Zach K, and she still likes Taylor. She ain't gonna like him for long, y'all. Just keep listening. And then Nick and Taylor and Ace, they talk in the speakeasy about, you know, Taylor's love connection and he trying to figure out with Alandria. I said, don't be confusing people now, Taylor. And Iris and Grayson, they talk about how she likes, like, Grayson talk about how she like Grayson. Iris and Grayson talk about how she like Brandon. And then, but Pepe, Taylor, and TJ, they talk about how he isn't feeling the spark with Grayson. And I'm like, but hold on though. Hold on, wait a minute, TJ. So now you saying that you ain't feeling the spark with Grayson. However, Grayson over there talking to Iris and she's saying that she feel the spark with you. I'm like, come on now. I don't like all this double talking. I don't like how these men is moving. I don't like how they doing none of these women up in here, including Hudda. Because a woman is a woman and you're going to have to treat them with respect. And then TJ said, I got a text. And Iris did too. And then she said that they would be receiving a blank postcard to state their thoughts on how on people and have, you know, the option to sign it and say what they said, so they can basically just stand on business, because that's the name of the episode. And they're gonna have to go ahead and put out their feelings on how they feel about the people in the house. And I'm like, the villa. I'm like, this would be a little bit messier than movie night, but it's a little more. I don't know. And then TJ going back, it got real quick. Got to it real quick. So TJ pulls the first postcard from Anonymous, and they said that they don't know how he still made and how he is still, like, how he made it this far. And then TJ said, well, I made it this far because I'm getting connections with all the women that I'm talking to, and we're all having connections, and I've connected with so many different people. And I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Did you? Do I remember that? Do I remember that? Just like I remember Hudda when she said that she loves, I don't believe her. And I don't believe him. Like when Hudda be saying, I love everyone. I'm a girl's girl. All of y'all are my friends. All of y'all are my friends. I would never hurt you. I would never do anything to hurt you. Bull. And then Adriana, she said, I wrote that. I said, and he didn't take it no type of way when she got up and said she wrote it. And then Sierra's and note to Nick and so Sierra's note to Nick, and Sierra, he said, Sierra, you sure know how not to be quiet. Then Pepe addressed Shelly and Alandria about why he says it doesn't make sense how they were all up to eliminate Hannah. And he said, that's not what's making sense to me, that y'all all eliminated Hannah and you knew that we was making a connection. And then Alandria just pretty much said, well, Shelly, she said, oh, well, we all just felt like the connection wasn't being made and this and this and that. And I'm like, how are you going to be talking about the connection wasn't made if you're not the person, the people who trying to get to know each other, and you're not in the connection? Moving on. And then Amaya says to Amaya from Crush and Work. And Chris admits that it was him talking about how he wrote how she snores and she always cries. And she says that she is viewing it as, and she said that everyone is viewing it as a weakness, but I view it as me being strong and coming through everything and overcoming things. And then she said, I thank Brian for saying coming from Hispanic. Okay, so then Ace chimed in. And what he said was, well, I talked about how I feel. She always do this. She always do that. And then, yeah. I'm like, shut up, Ace. Come on now. Shut up. Stop it. Stop. And then he all but hurt her feelings because it was just a situation of I understood, she made me cry, and I had to take a moment because I understood everything that Amaya was saying. All she was ever saying is she not everybody's cup of tea. And she said, if I'm not your cup of tea, then don't drink it. Then that's when Ace piped up with his little short ass. Then piped up and he said, well, how I felt, you always was calling me babe. I don't want you to call me babe. I don't want you to call me babe. And then that's when Brian was saying, coming from a Hispanic household, that's just what we say. We say babe and mamacita and stuff like that. That's just our household. That's just our term. And then he said that you telling her to meet you halfway. Then Ace jumped up and said, well, I am. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I said, oh, so he mad. He don't want nobody to tell him about himself. We already know, Ace, that you don't want nobody to say nothing about you. Oh, you big mad. Big mad. He told you about yourself. Point blank. Bye. And then Pepe was told that he cannot. I didn't forget what Pepe was told. It wasn't even that important. I promise y'all it wasn't. Because what was important was when Ace hopped up and he said, if you and Shelly are so connected, then he is asked why he is. You know, if you and Shelly is pretty much so connected, then why is it that you always want to connect with other people that be coming in the house? And this and that. I'm like, connect with other people that be coming in the house. Everybody knows that that's what he do. Point blank. That's him. And then Austin, I really thank Austin for standing on that business like he needed to do. And Austin says that his point of, he says that it's all about, you know, bumming, like love bombing, and telling Austin. And Ace says that he is telling Austin and he coming down on Amaya too hard, because he was coming down on Amaya too fucking hard. Because I'm like, come on, Ace, nobody was talking to you in the first place. As far as I remember somebody else piping in and saying that you're going to have to cool down and roll the hell up off of Amaya, like you be on her, just jumping on her, pile up after pile up after pile up after pile up. And then Zach with a K, he stepped his ass in there. And then he said that, yes, well, you never really wanted to connect with me. And then we was, you know, I just told you that I didn't want a connection. Then she said, but we just talked about this and you didn't even say anything to me like this. And you didn't say that you didn't want me. Pretty much, you just waited until you got in front of all these 20 people to try to embarrass me. And I said, that's what the hell he did. And then that's why I say, his ass pissed me off, and then Ace ass pissed me off. Zach K and Ace, they pissed me off, because I'm like, don't be jumping down on Amaya like that, because you know what she meant, and you know that her heart is pure. And y'all little weak ass couldn't take it when she said, if you don't like what she's spitting, and if she not your cup of tea, then don't sip the tea. And I'm like, niggas, don't sip it. Don't. Because I'm like, what the is wrong with y'all? I said, we ain't finna do that, because you already know that she got a good heart, and then you know she mean well. So y'all was just taking it too far. And then it was a little bit too much for her. And then Hudda and Sierra, they went back there to comfort her. And Sierra, and that's why I'm like, she just was talking to Sierra about this. She just was talking to her about it. And talking to her that, you know, how she liked Zach K, but he didn't talk to her for a whole day. He purposely didn't talk to her for a whole day. And she said that, you know, she just pretty much was like, well, it's all good. She said she'll talk to him to see what's up. And then I'm like, he gonna try to embarrass her in front of everybody and try to be cool guy and tough guy like he worked that, like he bout that life. I'm like, move the hell on and move around. And then it says, Shelly, do you need to have boundaries? And she says that I do have to have boundaries. And he said, so this Ace right here. And he said, Shelly, why do you need to have boundaries? And she says that you don't have boundaries. And he just mocking her and saying that she be saying that you don't have boundaries, Ace. And you doing too much, Ace. And I'm like, Ace, shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. Because and I'm like, he needs to move the hell around, because I'm like, ain't nobody clocking and listening to shit that he's saying. Point, period, point, and blank. Because he pissed me off. He pissed me off, and Zach K pissed me off, and I about didn't want to hear shit that Ace had to say. And then Brian wrote in, and that ain't important. And then Hudda says that back when she was, and that ain't important either, because this was important right here. And then it was Hudda's time, and it said Hudda, and it says, do Hudda, Hannah should be there, and Hudda, and you be dumped, and Hudda be dumped. And then he says that they were robbed of the opportunity to a connection, and she got mad. And you know who said it? You know, Pepe said it, and he's right. They were robbed of an opportunity to connect. I think everybody said that shit wasn't right. How you just sent Hannah home. And I'm like, they had a connection. I'm like, what the hell is it? Do they not want them to connect with each other? Or is it that they don't want the people to connect with the people that they want to connect with? And she just wanted to get rid of, Hannah. And I said, Hannah was too much of a sweet person. Moving on. And then Shelly said she want the loyalty from friends and respect is crazy. You say your intentions are in the best interest of your friends, but really you're selfish, and her intentions are selfish. And Hudda asked if it was the Chris situation, and Shelly said it's about everything, going back to the Jeremiah situation. It is. And Alandra spoke up about the situation and said, you want to tell them how they kissed in the speakeasy? And she kissed Chris. She did. And then Hudda was too stunned to speak. And Shelly even looked confused. I'm like, oh, really? So you sidestepping like that? You sidestepping like that, whore? Whore. You sidestepping like that? And that's exactly, I was feeling what she was saying. And I'm like, yeah. I'm glad that they had this challenge. So you can lay all that shit out on the line. And then Hudda was too stunned to speak. And then Shelly even looked confused. And Hudda said, I can't kiss a boy that I found I like, God forbid. And Hudda feels betrayed by Alandria and for speaking about the speakeasy situation. And Chris said, well, he actually's with Hudda. And he said this plan was to focus on Shelly. Shelly said his switch up is very insane. And it is insane. Insane like somebody in the mental asylum. Insane asylum. Very insane. And then Chris said that he could basically give a F about staying in the villa. He said he got other stuff, to do other than stay in the villa. And then Alandria up, because it was Alandria's time now. Because they done about pissed Chris off. And he done pretty much got mad. And he done pretty much left. He ain't want to talk no more because he said he done talking. I said, all right. God dang. Ruffling your feathers and ruffling your panties? Baby, don't get your panties in a bunch. Don't do that. And then Alandria is up. And Clark said, I know you think that it's just a test. And she said, me and Taylor, but it's way more than that, Alandria. And Alandria says, congrats. I said, uh-oh. No, not congrats. And then Taylor was looking more uncomfortable. Real uncomfortable. I promise you, he was rubbing his chin hairs and all that stuff. And he just was uncomfortable. And I said, it's okay. It's okay, Taylor. We know that you want Clark. And Clark said that it's upsetting to feel like a test. And then when she's comfy, she's physical. And then Alandria said, she says that she talks to everyone and she calls everyone a test. I don't remember that, Alandria. I have to go back about 24 episodes to see if he was calling people tests, because I don't recall. Okay? And I have watched Confidently, and I have watched detail by detail, and I didn't remember you calling everybody a test. Every bombshell a test. Girl, get out of here with that. And then she says that if it comes out wrong to Clark, she apologizes. And Clark says, I accept it. And I said, she cool with me. I'm Clark 10 toes down and 10 hands down. I'm her and Amaya 10 toes down, 10 hands down for both of them. They're my girls. And then Taylor is up. And someone asked why, if Taylor and Alandria's connection broke so, how did Taylor and Alandria's connection break so easily? And Alandria said, how old are we? You, when he said that Clark gave him a kid feeling. And Hudda said, it's crazy to hear that they've been knowing each other for three days. And Alandria been knowing him for 4 weeks. And Clark comes in and their connection is broken. I'm like, we not finna take the damn shit off of you, Hudda, because the shit's still on you. Recognize that. It's still on you. And then Alandria said that stand on business and stop acting like a little bitch. And she said it. And I said, Alandria said he never spared her feelings, but he spared Clark's feelings. And she said, I've been in this house every single day, down for you. And you never spared my feelings at all. And I said, I feel you, girl. I feel you from one woman to the next. I feel you in that situation. He didn't. But, and then she said that it was always F her feelings, but it's F yours. She said it was always F my feelings, but this time it's yours. I said, and Alandria, she pissed now. And she screaming and she angry and she was, and I just been down for you for day one. And she is having a complete breakdown. She really was. I feel her. And Alandria said that he said a whole lot of bullshit. And Taylor said pretty much he is in it for the connections and he has to think for himself. Pretty much, do you want me to think for you or do you want me to think for myself? Is what he said. I made that real nice, but I'm finna tell you the real of what he said. That's what he said. And then someone said, Taylor, make up your damn mind. And he said, well, y'all really want me to make up my mind? Y'all really want to hear it? Y'all really want to hear it? It was Clark that said that. And then since y'all want me to make up my mind, he said, I'm finna pick Clark. Boom. Hands down, that was the end of it. He dropped that paper. He should have dropped the paper. Let's just say that. I don't know if he dropped the paper or not. I dropped my paper. When he said that, I said, forget all these notes that I done wrote. He just stood on business. Now, that's the meaning of standing on business right there. That's the business. That's the plan. That's the meaning of standing on goddamn business. And when I tell you that this was one of the best episodes, damn a damn movie night. That was more messy than a movie night. But, y'all, that was Love Island, Season 7, episode... Now it made me forget. I want to say episode 26, but let me see. Made me lose my paper. I was too passionate. So, Love Island USA, Season 7, episode 26. And then it's Stand on Business. And I knew when they had that mailbox, I said, oh yeah, they gonna be standing on some business right now, and it's gonna be hurting some feelings. And whose feelings that it hurt the most? Hey, Hudda. I sure hate it for you. Bye, girl. Because, you know, Alandra pretty much said, and then Shelly pretty much said that she done backing her. And she pretty much said that made her look like a fool, a damn fool. And I said, you know what? I believe that. And then, you know something? I did my vote tonight. And you know the people that I voted for? It wasn't her. It definitely was not her. But see y'all later, YouTube, for the night. Have a good night. I'm going to get this uploaded here shortly. Bye. Have a good night. And YouTube, that was the video. And what I want y'all to do is like, comment, and subscribe. Again, like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, YouTube family.